My name is Barika Williams. I'm the Executive Director at the Association for Neighborhood and Housing Development, or ANHD. The mission of ANHD is to build community power, to win affordable housing and thriving, equitable neighborhoods for all New Yorkers. ANHD values equity and justice and believes in the importance of movement building in how we do our work. We engage in research, advocacy, policy, capacity building, and grassroots organizing to move our work forward. We believe this work starts on the ground, in communities, and that is where this work should come from. We believe that all of this work is intersectional and that nothing is isolated on its own. Housing justice is economic justice, is racial justice. Currently, we're working on affordable housing, tenants' rights, mission-driven development, equitable economic development, small business supports, land use justice, responsible banking, and capacity building to support the community development movement. Our ANHD members have built more than 130,000 units of affordable housing. They've served as community caretakers throughout COVID, being on the front lines in their communities, and they serve nearly 500,000 of New York's low-income, predominantly communities of color and immigrant populations. We are here to support some of New York's most vulnerable and marginalized communities and neighborhoods to make sure they have a voice, they have a say in what their New York and our New York collectively should look like. We believe our work should and must center racial equity. ANHD fought side by side with our ANHD members to win the strongest rent laws in the history of New York State. We're working day in and day out to assure that no New York City resident is evicted or foreclosed on and loses their home. We're working tirelessly to create a different system of planning for New York so that planning understands the racial and historical composition of our neighborhoods and supports our long-term residents. We brought together our ANHD members, their commercial corridors, to understand what our local community small businesses need. And it's that kind of engagement that allowed us to know what was happening, be in touch with and responsive to small businesses during COVID, and work to advocate and implement the state's first microloan program for COVID relief. We're invested in the future of the community development sector. ANHD runs trainings for the entire community development field. We host multiple fellowships, including those geared for community organizers and for the future workforce of community development corporations. We're fighting to hold banks accountable, to create the investment that our communities need, to undo the legacies of redlining, and to invest in our BIPOC and immigrant communities with the resources, programs, and investment dollars that communities need that don't create displacement, but create opportunity. We're leading the coalition fighting for land use justice, to win comprehensive planning, so that public land goes for public good, and that every community has the resources it deserves and needs. Planning should not be about power and privilege. Planning should be about equity. These are critical and difficult conversations to have, but they're necessary as we move towards the more equitable and just city that we want and deserve. I hope you will join us in this work and these important conversations. You can visit our website, subscribe to our listserv, or follow us on social media. You can also get involved with your local ANHD member group. It's a great way to be connected to what's happening in your local community and moving forward in your neighborhood. And if you are able, please donate to ANHD's work today. Your donation helps us continue to move our important and critical work forward. Thank you for helping us build community power.